Yo,
What's up, man?
man, it's nothing much, man. So yeah, what is your thoughts on the first game?
Oh man. Okay. Well, first off, thank you for letting me, join you guys in the podcast. I will say, absolutely, I was absolutely wrong with the notion, at least of the first game. I thought it was going to be close. I thought the Warriors were going to win. I thought it was going to be within the spread, which was 7 points. I like to think that everything that I say or did say was accurate, and it was the only thing that was accurate was the fact that when I think afterwards I texted you guys, because I thought to myself, like, Cleveland's good, you know what you're going to get, but if you think about it in terms of the entire team and then individually, Cleveland, they're inconsistent. LeBron's had games where, recently, like in Boston, he disappears. Same with Kevin Love, same with Kyrie. D. Will kind of disappeared. They all disappeared, except for LeBron in this case. And it was also an example of how dominant the Warriors can be. And a fact of the finals, too, that I kind of discovered was the ceiling for the Warriors is astronomically higher than the Cavs. The Cavs have to do a lot right to make the Warriors lose. And obviously, Kevin Durant, I was dead wrong about Kevin Durant, at least especially with Game 1. Now, it is Game 1, and the Cavs, were in a similar spot last year, but obviously that was poetry. That was beautiful, beautiful basketball, on the Warriors' end. But I will say something after you go. I will say something that I was telling Stan that might piss him off a little bit, just because I have to. But that's my thought. I think Game 2 is going to be inevitably closer, because it can't get much farther. It can't be that much greater of a difference of a game than Game 1. But yeah, dude, if the Warriors keep playing like this, there's no reason to think that they can't do it in 5. Straight up. But yeah, that's my thought on Game 1, and I admit that I was definitely not as correct as I wanted to be.
Nah, man, it's not even a big deal. Game 1 could have really went either way before the game started. I thought the Warriors were going to win, just for the simple fact that, as weird as it is, and I don't really like going by stats, but LeBron has only won one time as far as a Game 1 in his finals career. So I thought the Cavs might kind of start off slow, and then the first quarter was great, and then the second quarter was good, but you could tell all right, the Cavs are about to start falling off. Because at first it was just most of the game was the Kevin Durant show, but Steph Curry heated up in the second quarter, and they was just okay, it's looking like they're about to break away. But because it was the first game, as you noticed, the Cavs, well, not the Cavs, the Cavs did miss easy shots, but the Warriors missed a lot of easy shots. They missed even more. They could have been up. Yeah.
Dude, absolutely. It was when I was watching the game, in my head, and I had a group of people over, and everyone was, rooting for the Warriors, and in my head I was going for the Cavs, and I'm watching this game, and like you said, I'm watching 2 foot layups are not going in, and it's all from the Warriors. And then Cleveland goes down, and I don't think I noticed that they're missing. They probably missed shots, but they seem like they're making them more consistently, because we're so used to seeing the Warriors make shots all the time that when they miss those shots, I thought, oh wow, this is I'm right. But then I keep looking down at the score, and the Warriors are up. They're up by 6 points. Then they're up by 9 points, and then 11 points. And there's some, it was crazy. But yeah, sorry for go ahead. I noticed that too.
Yeah. So when I saw it, the first thing I was thinking about is it's probably a mix of jitters and then them just thinking too much. Because you could tell if you play ball, street ball or wherever, you could tell when you're trying to make a layup, but you're thinking too much. Like, you almost think, like, you're going to fall or something. Like, that's how it came off. Like, because there was a couple of times, like, Steph missed a couple of layups that he wouldn't usually miss. There's a couple of putbacks that Kevin Durant had missed, and he already had a 38-point night. So he could have got, like, 45 probably had he not missed the others. But, yeah, like, Klay, if Klay ever heats up...
Yeah, Klay and Draymond weren't there.
Well, Draymond, I'm not really concerned with Draymond because, like, Draymond knows his role. Like, he doesn't really even care to, like, score. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if they like double team the other two, then he probably would score. But like, he's more concerned with like rebounding, passing, all the other stuff. But Klay, the fact that Klay was getting locked on by Kyrie, I just don't like it. I get it. Like, Kyrie's not a bad defender necessarily, but it's like, dude, like, that's supposed to be barbecue chicken. Like, you're supposed to get him. Like. And, like, I would say, like, Klay needs to get to the basket, like, more often. Like, the shots that he was taking wasn't even bad, but they were just rattling in and out. So he needs to get to the basket more often. But, yeah, if he can heat up somehow, some way, this series will definitely end in 5. And, yeah, another thing, I wanted to say this based on the conversation that you and Stanley had. The bench, I knew the Cavs bench wasn't going to play well because they really haven't played well throughout the entire playoffs. Like, they've been inconsistent. Like, they've had their moments, but, like, Kyle Korver has been cold. Richard Jefferson is old. Like, their bench is really more old than they actually are veterans. Like, Darren Williams is not even hitting shots. And I don't know why they're not using Derek Williams. I would throw him out there just to have an extra body because even though Kevin Durant and them can't handle LeBron and them cannot handle Kevin Durant neither. So, and it looks worse for the Cavs because, like I was saying to Stanley in the first podcast, like, I just think they're going to be gassed, like, throughout the series. Like, just like what happened in Game 1, I think it's going to happen throughout the rest of the series. Like, basically, I think that, like, LeBron, Love, and Kyrie Irving, I think they're just going to get worn out. And it's going to be 3 versus, the 8 on the Warriors, basically.
You know what? I think that's, especially after Game 1, if that's a snapshot into what this finals is going to be like, then that's absolutely correct. Because when you're watching it, like, I'm going off of this, this idea where, the stars align and, if everything works out the way in theory it might and should, maybe they still win. And maybe, right? Even if it all works out. But yeah, dude, it was like LeBron could score. He scored 28 points, like 15. He almost had a triple double. But besides that, and Caleb and Kyrie, did his thing. But yeah, you're right. It was like literally 3 against everyone else, and the Warriors bench, David West put up buckets. Andre Iguodala was effective as always. Javale McGee's definitely kind of shaking off the shacking a fool kind of title. Yeah, it was very dominant on the part of the Warriors bench. And Darren Williams is, he's past his Richard Jefferson. They're past their veteran years, and they're literally entering like older years, like past veteran.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was also going to say, like, Clark and the young guys on the Warriors, they're helping out as well. So, yeah, that was my main thing. I feel like because the Warriors do have a better bench, in my opinion, that they're just going to wear out the Cavs. And like I said, it's going to be, 3 versus 8. And LeBron and Kyrie can only do so much. Like, Kyrie can do a little bit more than LeBron offensively, but, like, it's just too much. I don't think it's going to really change. Like, Tyronn Lue probably is going to try to make some changes for Game 2. But as of right now, I got the Warriors going 2-0. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe they make some big adjustments that I don't see. But unless the bench plays much better in Game 2, I think it's going to be a similar outlook. Because, like I was telling Stanley in the in our predictions, like when I watched both of the games during the season, like basically the Warriors should have won the first one. Like they were up by double digits in the first game, like in the fourth quarter, but they just gave up the lead. But like now, I don't think that's going to happen. And yeah, I do think what will help, and I'm not like trying to be funny while I'm saying this, but the Cavs are going to need some help from the referees. Like they're going to need, they're going to need the referees to like pretty much get away, like without like calling any fouls, basically. Like that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing that would possibly slow the game down. But even then, like it's still going to be hard. So yeah, that's my personal opinion.
There's too many weapons on that team.
Oh, can you say that again? What happened?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was saying there's too many weapons on that team.
Yeah,
on the Warriors.
Yeah. Completely agree. Yeah, so that's why I think they're gonna win game 2, and then the pressure is really gonna be on the Cavs, which I think is really bad for LeBron because as great as LeBron is, he is one of the mentally. This is gonna sound bad saying this, but he is one of the more mentally like weakest like superstars. Like his confidence was down after they lost to the Celtics that first wherever that one loss they had. And in the second game he had like 4 fouls in like the first quarter. Like he was just like not in sync. But like Kyrie bailed the team out. Like, you know, he put him on his back or whatever, so LeBron was able to like get back to his normal self in the fourth quarter. But I don't think that's gonna happen in this series. So yeah, like all three of them have to play like they just have to play extraordinary for like the rest of the series, which I just don't think is going to happen. That's just too much. And yeah, so I predicted them to win, the Warriors to win the 6 games. Right now, it's not looking like that. It's only 1 game, but honestly, I really won't be surprised if somehow the Cavs get swept. Like it would really be terrible for the league, but I just would not be surprised, dude. Like it's just too much.
You know what? It's hard for me after that game, dude. And you know, LeBron James, you're picking apples to, you know, green apples to red apples. We're going to talk about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, but yeah, dude. I mean, you know, you're talking about the 2 best players on 2 best basketball players in the world are on the court together playing each other. You know, kind of like finally. You know, we've been waiting for this. And Durant's accompanied now with 3 other All-Stars, one of which has won 2 MVPs. And yeah, dude, that's a lot to account for. It's not, LeBron's not playing the Thunder anymore. You don't have to worry about, only 2 superstars. You got to worry about 4. That's a lot to ask for. Even for LeBron James, even for Kyrie, even for Kevin Love. Like that's a lot to ask. So after game 1, if there's any probability discussion of if they can get swept, the answer is absolutely yes. There is a significant chance that they can get swept, and if the Cavs can push it to 6, I think that's a victory for the Cavs. I mean, it's stacked against them at this point. Unless, like you said, they play perfectly, and and there's calls that fall their way. But it was a dominant performance. Oh, and what I was going to say too was we can talk Stanley this tomorrow. Yesterday I was pointing out there were a lot of different storylines in this finals, right? You have, like we were saying, LeBron versus KD, LeBron getting his 5th ring, KD getting his 1st ring. A bunch of different storylines. David West getting his first, whatever. But I think the unspoken storyline, if the Warriors end up sweeping the Cavs, right, 4 in a row, or even if they go 5, the unspoken story that should be highlighted for this victory, for this championship, should be Mike Brown's deliverance as a coach, because Mike Brown, you know what I'm saying? Right, he was in Cleveland, he was quite literally ousted by LeBron James to go to the Lakers, where Kobe Bryant didn't take Mike Brown seriously. He didn't take him seriously at all. And he was ousted by, LA. He ended up, kind of around, and then he just got, kind of got spat out on this Warrior team. And then all of a sudden Steve Kerr's down, and I didn't even think about that. Stanley mentioned it yesterday. I think you might have said something too. But, Steve Kerr not being there is a pretty big factor. And whether it's a shout out to Steve Kerr's coaching, the players' talent and their professionalism, but maybe a little bit of it has to do with Mike Brown, maturing a little bit and finding that deliverance to, make sure that the end of his career is ending on a high note. And I think that's, kind of commendable in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I had made the joke way before the series was going to start. I was like, I put it on Facebook. I was like, plot twist: Mike Brown is going to get his revenge on the Cavs organization. So,
no, you're absolutely right. If there's anyone that would know how to beat LeBron and Kyrie, right? He had both of them effectively. Yeah. It would be Mike Brown.
Well, aside from LeBron getting a couple, he made several plays where he went down the lane. So it wasn't like he wasn't aggressive. But I figured eventually they was going to have to get him to shoot. And he made a couple of threes, but then it was just like, all right, he started becoming normal. And another issue I would say is because he's been such a bad free throw shooter as far as in comparison to other small forwards, he's going to have to figure out a way to make his free throws. He can't afford to even miss many free throws, maybe one at the most, because, they just can't play any defense. Not good enough to
they need every point
under 100. Yeah.
No, they need every point that they can get, and they need every rebound. I was impressed with Tristan Thompson, but, yeah, dude, that defense, that 106 rating postseason defense, I didn't see I didn't see any defense at all last game. Like you said, dude, I think Warriors are going to win game 2. They can't get much far. They lost 30 points. It wasn't even close. And if the Cavs can win game 3 and game 4 somehow, then we got a real real finals going.
I do agree. I guess I'm very pessimistic on that part. I just feel like if they are down 2-0, I feel like they're going to be down 3-1 again. And then this time, that's what I think is going to happen. Even though I did pick in 6 games, I think it's going to be exactly what should have happened last year. It's going to be a 4-1 win. And then I don't know if you heard what I told Stanley, but basically I'm pretty sure somehow, some way, LeBron is going to find a way to, manage to get the blame on the bench and stuff, and then they're going to find a way to get Carmelo Anthony on the team next season, which we can talk about another day. But I'm pretty sure he's going to find some type of way, even if it means getting rid of Kevin Love, which I'm pretty sure he wants to try to free a Big Four. But, yeah.
I don't think they have the cap space for it, and I think Melo is still faster than Kevin Love is, and I think Melo can still be effective from more spots on the court than Kevin Love is. I think Kevin Love will beat him in rebounds, which is good, but, Kevin Love's not, the Kevin Love from, Minnesota. He's like he's a three-point shooter thing. He's draining, but, whatever. I'd rather, Carmelo Anthony can do that same thing for less money. And, other things on offense that, Love just doesn't do. If that's, that could happen. That could for sure happen. Braun and Melo played each other in high school. Melo, I think, is a year or 2 older, but it could be the answer. I thought you were going to say for a second, because last year, at the last podcast, I said, last year, the Cavs were, they lost. The Cavs basically lost last year, and then Draymond went down. And then they got Kevin Love, and it's like they got Kevin Love so that when Draymond does get out somehow, some way, they'll have his replacement, Kevin Durant. So maybe LeBron's going to figure out a way to get both of them out. So if that's the only way to beat the Warriors, they're going to have to injure or get Draymond Green suspended, but it's going to be kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, man. I just think they're in big trouble. And I think for all the LeBron fans, all the LeBron sexuals, like, they're about to be really hurt. And, yeah, man, I mean, look, people can say what they want, but this is the biggest series of LeBron's career, even though his biggest win, obviously, was last year. But it's like, dude, you've been talking about chasing the GOAT to Michael Jordan. You got all your not fan base, but stand base saying that you're right neck and neck to Jordan. So, like, if you end up going 3-5 instead of 4-4, then that's it. It's completely over.
That's
like,
a big
as far as,
difference.
like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm a Kobe fan. I'm LA Lakers. I love Kobe Bryant. I think that's right, though. Number one, first and foremost, is Michael Jordan. Kobe is definitely in the top, 5, maybe number 3 or 4. I'd put Kareem up there. I think that was a very, very good thing. That was very right. If he goes 4-4, then you can say, you know what, you got to give the guy credit. He went to 7 finals in a row. He went to 1 his sophomore year, and he won half of them. That's not bad. But then if he goes 3-5, you can then say, well, look, he manufactured a team in Miami, won 2, went to 3. He didn't even win 3. Went back to Cleveland, manufactured a team in Cleveland on his terms to get Kevin Love, won a game because Draymond Green was injured, and then he might not win again. If he loses this one like that, he may not win again. It'd be hard to overcome that because now you have this juggernaut, in the Warriors that are just going to crush him every time. And LeBron's 32 years old. Kevin Durant's 28. Durant, it could be the start of Durant's legacy in a way.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
I mean, me personally, I'm a LeBron fan. Like, I've always supported LeBron. I never liked the whole Kobe LeBron debate. I always hated that because they're completely different players. And I'm a Lakers fan as well. Yeah. So I'm a Lakers fan as well, but I never bought into that whole nonsense. Like, they're a completely different player. And I'll talk about this a whole nother day. But my top 10, top 5 of all time is based on position. Like, mine, because sports is so subjective that you can make an argument for who you want to be number one based on who you like. But mine is more simplified. So I'll talk about that a whole nother day. But basically, go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, based on, the standards that LeBron has had to go through, I think he's lived up to most of those standards. But like I said, the Bron sexuals and Bron stands, they make it worse. So, that's why I'm just if he goes 3-5, I don't want to hear from Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd about, the Warriors, this and that. Yes, the Warriors are the better team, but I don't want to hear how somehow that makes him better than Jordan because Jordan didn't go against this Warriors team. I just don't want to hear this type of stuff. If the Warriors win, then they should get credit. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. It'd be like saying Steph Curry was good. They were okay, but 20 years from now, there's going to be another awesome team that they haven't played. Yeah, right. It's exactly right. How are you going to say that Michael Jordan and his team weren't that good? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. So that's why I'm I don't know. I don't want to see LeBron lose again. But, I picked the Warriors objectivity. I was just I just can't imagine them being full strength losing. I just can't imagine that, especially the way they did last year. So, I think the Cavs are in trouble, man. I know all the people who would pick the Cavs in terms of ESPN and Fox Sports 1, they're oh, it's not a big deal. It's just game 1. But it's dude, it's different. It's different if you lost a close game they did the first time they played each other in the trilogy. Like the first time, they went to overtime, but this wasn't the case. Like you got blown out, and you got blown out real quick in the third quarter.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, the Warriors beat them handily. Right,
Mm-hmm.
handily. Like you're right. The last few times in the regular season, it was a game we expected it to be, and it wasn't that. It wasn't even close. Right? They were missing shots, and it still wasn't close. It was unbelievable. I was going to ask you one more thing. What was I going to say? Shoot. It was a good one. If it comes to me, I'll let you know.
Okay, we got almost like 90 seconds left. So yeah.
Oh yeah. You got to tell me you got to go over your top 5 to 10 sometime, and Stanley's got to be in the conversation too. He's gonna love to hear that. But is LeBron James a top 5 basketball player or top 10 basketball player of all time right now?
Top 10, yes. Top 5 is debatable, but yeah, he's top 10 for sure. Like the whole thing about being top 5, top 10 is like you have to have impacted and changed like your era. Like wherever era you came in or you got drafted in, you had to have been a game changer, and he's been the number one guy. Like he's been the game changer. So yeah, I definitely think he's a top 10 based on all the accolades that he has. And yeah, I think you could definitely argue that he's in top 5. I'll say where I have him ranked for another day. But yeah, we got 30 seconds left, man. So anything else you want to get out?
All right. Yeah, man. First off, again, thank you so much. I love being a part of these talks, man. Dude, Game 2 is going to be crazy. I'm expecting the same result, hopefully a little bit closer. But, dude, I think Warriors go 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. I got Warriors going 2-0, and I don't think it's going to be close either. But yeah, man, we out, man.
Yo, nice talking to you, bro. Let's get it together after Game 2.
All right, for sure.
Peace, bro.